Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So I recently took a trip back to California to visit family, and while I was there, I also visited a couple shops. And while I was in those shops, one question kept coming up, and that is, what is going on with Benitez and his decision on the so-called assault weapons ban and the magazine ban? What's going on with those two cases, and why is it taking so long? So today, we're going to talk about that. Let's get to it. This channel is proud to be sponsored by the USCCA. Absolutely the best peace of mind you could ever have in your wallet. Most of us don't have a lawyer on speed dial. We don't have money to retain a lawyer. And so when something happens, we need help. And with your USCCA membership, you get that self-defense liability insurance where they will be there to help you. You can choose the lawyer. You can choose one from their network. But with your membership, you get that liability insurance, which is absolutely priceless. You get the magazine. They have all sorts of freebies and definitely worth checking out. So check out the USCCA with the link down below. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. Now, I think it would be kind of irresponsible of me to not mention that this is just my opinion. After doing this on YouTube for a little over 10 years now and covering mostly California cases, I've learned a lot about how long it's going to take and what things need to be done. And I've been following these cases since their inception. And so I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of exactly what's going on here. But again, we wouldn't know for sure unless Benitez was standing right here so that we could ask him some questions. And I wish he would come on. That'd be fantastic because I'm sure you guys have a ton of questions as well. And just having the man, the myth, the legend stand next to me would be pretty awesome as well. So let's go ahead and talk about why I think that this is going to be over fairly soon, but why it's taking so long. Now, I think the first reason is pretty obvious. Number one, it's just caseload, right? So even though he has these major decisions, he's still working. He's still in court. He's still hearing other cases. While these cases are extremely important to us and extremely important to people who want to practice their freedoms, it doesn't really stop his caseload from moving forward. So he's got a lot of things on his plate, a lot of things to look at, and obviously these are things that he's taking very seriously because he's already ruled on them in the past, and we know which direction he went. He ruled on the side of the Constitution. So the fact that they made it all the way back to him makes them even more important because I feel like this time he has to validate his previous opinions. That's why I think we're going to have a win here. I don't think he's going to change his mind. If anything, the political landscape and the Supreme Court precedent has changed in his favor based on his original opinion. So again, I think he has a massive workload and he's trying to get these things done. But again, that's not all to the story. The second part of it is, if you remember the first time he wrote his opinions in these cases, they were appealed pretty much immediately and they went up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So when they're appealed immediately, they go up to the Ninth Circuit, and you know the Ninth Circuit is not friendly. There's a couple things that you have to do, some check boxes that you have to make sure are there. One thing is you have to make sure that it's basically argument proof. So I think that's what's taking him so long. I think that's the biggest reason that this is taking him so long is that he has to write an order that is essentially bulletproof. He has to write an order that can't be argued based on evidence, based on Supreme Court precedent, based on text, history, and tradition in such a way that when it gets appealed, because we know that California will appeal it back to the Ninth Circuit, that a 3-judge panel or an en banc court hearing is going to be able to look at his document and say this is basically flawless. I think that's what he's going for. I think that he's going for an absolutely perfect and as close to flawless opinion in this as you can possibly get so that even on appeal, his order would stand. Okay, so here's what's going to happen when Benitez comes out with his order, and I think it's really important to understand this. So the first thing is, obviously, when we find out about it, I'm going to go ahead and make a video about it. It's going to be huge. It's going to have implications across the entire Ninth Circuit jurisdiction. It's going to have ripple effects across the country. It's going to be major news, period. But the next thing that's going to happen is that the California Department of Justice and the attorneys and anybody that was involved on the defendant's side is going to print out and scan this document, and they're going to look for any imperfection or any flaw that they can find, any loophole, anything that he wrote in this that they can use for the Ninth Circuit. So they're going to look for anything that they can. Every little word is going to be scrutinized. I mean, every statement, every period, every comma is going to be looked at by the California Department of Justice to see if they can use that for their own personal benefit when it gets appealed to the Ninth Circuit. So again, knowing that, he's going to have to be very careful about what he writes. And I know that because this is such a big case, because it's garnered so much attention, he's going to be very careful. Now, there's been some rumor and some speculation that he's under investigation for several different things. Now, I know there was an incident with a girl who was handcuffed while in court, and there was an investigation into that. I get that one, but there's also been other rumors that he's being investigated by federal law enforcement, and that he's being investigated by California, and all of these things are sort of kind of making him weary about putting out the same type of order that he did in the past. Now, I just think that that's rumor and speculation. Obviously, when things take this long, people start guessing about what's going on. People start looking at things that currently exist and maybe starting to connect the dots and, say that maybe he's being intimidated. Maybe he's being intimidated, by the state or by the federal government. Who knows? But people start trying to put those dots together. I don't personally think that that's what it is. I think, again, the guy's working, right? And he's got a job that takes a long time. He's got a lot of research to do, a lot that he has to study while simultaneously trying to write this order. So again, while it seems like it's taken a long time, and it has, because we're talking about he's had it since March 15th, and we're waiting on an order since well, he's had it since before that, but we've been waiting on an order at least since March 15th. And so people are just kind of wondering what the hell. Regardless, if you look at the past cases like this, similar cases like this, they all take a long time. Very rarely, if ever, do judges rule from the bench in cases like this. And that means maybe even a week down the line, 2 weeks down the line, a month or 2 months. That just doesn't happen very often. So the fact that it's been close to 4 months now puts us in about the right spot to see an order very soon. I would say that more than likely we're going to see this order before the end of summer. I don't think that it's going to extend into September, October, November, or anything like that. My own personal belief is that we're going to see an order in this before the end of the summer, and I think it's going to again be in our favor. But it's just the workload of these judges and the way that they have to write things nowadays has to be absolutely perfect. And so again, those are the reasons that I think he's taking so long. But again, just based on my knowledge of California and the way things work, this isn't really that extraordinary of a time limit. So anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I'm checking every single day. The second I wake up, the first thing I do is check on 4 different cases in California to see what's going on with those, and I will continue to check on these as well. Any movement, I will let you guys know as soon as possible. And I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.